Is December 30th, 2023. Okay. I told you yesterday on December 29th, 23, when I go to leave, there's a group of kids outside laughing at FBI Agent Will. You mean FBI Agent Will actually? Our Agent Will actually said that he set her up for Dave and stole her money when he even knew it was a Ponzi scheme? And they were using her as a pawn. It was just drug lords trying to fight over this area in front of people. Yeah, no one could believe it came out of his mouth. He said on December 14th, 23, he walks out 4:45 p.m. North Main in Canton, screaming out, "I'm here to make sure she gets no money. I set her up for Dave." And how he took my money, and I heard Dave took off. Might send men to find him. Da 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 da. I told Dave I'd set her up, that she would never get no money out of this. And a whole confession and how he took my money. All the vehicles around me slammed on the brakes, and a lot of them were cops. And he sold the locket, so everybody heard him. That's why those kids were laughing at him. See, this whole thing is a drug scam. See, that's what they said when the case first started. For it's a bet between two gentlemen. Okay? They're drug lords. Okay? That they all their bets. And one of them was that they could be cruel enough to me that they could push me to suicide. That was one of the bets. Okay? That was one of their bets. And they were breaking their bets around me. Okay? And then the winner takes all. They're using her as a pawn to do this. Okay? She doesn't know what's going on. And I just look at him. He said it in front of the cops. Cops have always known. Will knew that. Will knew that. See, that's where those kids were laughing. Even Will knew it was the drug lords fighting over this area, using her as a Ponzi. It was a Ponzi scheme to fight over this area in front of people so no one would tell. And he actually said he was in it with Dave. And he set her up and he stole her money. I know, people are dying, can't believe it. Nobody's to say a word. He actually said that, and he even knew it. I'll tell you what, in 2017, when we got the loan for the driveway and that money disappeared, my dogs, Lincoln and Lily, were 7-pound cotton terriers, tiny little dogs. And a lot of times I carry them like babies. They lay their head right here, and you hold their little tushy and sit there and rub their little head, and they look up at you. Little 7-pound dogs, okay? One of the guys from the case was already stalking me. Dave was cheating with Michelle in 17. That's where the money disappeared from the safe. He was already cheating with Michelle in 17. One of the girls from the drug cartel showed up at PetSmart. She beats that dog. She's cruel to that dog. Da, 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 running his mouth. Okay? People in Perry Township yelled at him, "You can stop your lying. That dog loves her like its mother, and she's holding it like a baby, and that dog would never cuddle it if she beat on it. You can stop your lying. What's wrong with you?" Okay? They put him in his place. The drug cartel, Dave was already in the Mexican drug cartel in 17. Okay? That's where the car started getting scratched up, got caught with pot in his system, attempting to break into where the security system was, and then into beginning of March, the following the attempted kidnapping, and then the attempted carjacking took off. And when that didn't work, Pete's part of the Mexican drug cartel, and his son Alex is a light gray truck. Okay? White hair guy with his hair part inside. Dixie seen him, Darlene seen him. John seen him. He's the one that stabbed me in the neck and bashed my skull in. I still have it at. Found out later it was Michelle's brother. Okay? Dave's girlfriend's brother. See, there's real people behind each person. Okay, so, and Pete's Michelle's dad in the drug cartel. Since I didn't die, they were having a drug war. They needed an easy mark. A Ponzi. Someone to blame everything on and let everybody hurt and nobody would tell on them fighting over this area. So they picked me where they kicked in the door and decided to frame me, set up this big pond. Pete set up the big pond. Him and Michelle set up the big pond. Them and their drug cartel. The photoshopping and washing, roofie confessions, and stalking tapes. They set up the big pond. So the Fentanyl King and the M13 Mexican drug cartel could fight it out in front of people and nobody would tell them. They were drug trading, they were human trafficking in front of people. Nobody would tell on them. And they tried to, like they said, they used her as a pawn and she didn't understand why people were hurting her and why people were saying things. It was their easy mark where they pick out somebody, Joe Schmo walking down the street, make bad things happen to him. Break in and hurt him, break in and frame him. And they're actually after somebody else. So everybody's putting all their attention on this one person hurting them. And then they're doing all these other crimes and they're not paying attention. They use them as a pawn. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's like the shell game where they had the little pea under it. When the pea's in their hand the whole time. See what I mean? And he set it up for those drug lords to fight it out. They said that in 18. Okay? They said it in 19. They were saying it in North Canton, Ravenna, in front of the cops. The cops always knew. Will even knew. Now, I want you to even think, yesterday I was in Hartville. People around me, they even said, it's not funny that agent even knew why they were trying to kill her. That church where he, on that recorded line, I don't even repeat half the stuff, how cruel he was to me on that phone on a recorded line, where I told him someone told him on me the night before it was him. It was documented by the police. Okay. Dave told Danny he talked to him. His own confession, he talks to everyone. I tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me. He calls me a liar. He's a serial killer with the M13. Hardy slaughtered Lori's family member. Went on to take and release his niece. Wanted by the police. Okay? I tell him that he tried to kidnap me before. He's like, oh, come on. I've already talked to all those church people. With that stunt of you faking you were sick before, that's why they've been trying to kill you. They already told me. What'd you expect them to do? It's a documented medication error. After 6 to 10 surgeries, my muscles locked up. Went to what they call overcare now, where I got sent to the wrong doctors. I had really good insurance. Falsely diagnosed me, gave me a wrong prescription, swelled up, everything quit working. And I almost died, and it took another doctor to tell on them. Dear God, they wanted to do brain surgery. Put a colostomy bag on me. And I went from 105, I always say 250 pounds. I was probably even heavier. And I'll tell you what, and the 6 to 10 surgeries, 2.5 years, it was over a year of swelling from my feet to my brain, getting falsely diagnosed with brain tumors. My heart was getting off thyroid, adrenal gland quit working. My legs are so swollen, they're popping out of place. I'm dying from medical malpractice. They're wanting to do all those surgeries. And it took another doctor to tell me it was them ripping me off. To get off the medication, you'd be fine. There was nothing wrong with me, but my muscles locked up. And it took 9 months for the swelling to leave. Everything quit, start working again. And as soon as I got off the medication, everything started working. Brain swelling left. Heart started beating fine. Adrenal gland, thyroid, everything started working. And it took me 9 months of slowly getting well and learning to walk again. In the middle of it, this rich family, okay, this is 2003. He's late for a church baseball game, and so is a bunch of other people. He blows through a stop sign into a semi and kills him. I was looking up crash impacts. He had to be doing over 56 miles an hour. He went on a back road. So not only is he speeding with his grandson in the car, he blew through a stop sign in a semi. An arrogant show-off stunt. And I'm almost well. Started in November with Dr. Eli, getting off the medication, get on pain medicine, get out moving. And here it is May. I was almost well in April. And it took me till July to get all the way well, and 2 months not to fall anymore. And then 4 months to get off that swelling. That minister made up, oh, you were faking through the 4-year span. 4-year span. Oh, you were faking through that. He had to get rid of me. He thought I caught his son in adultery. It was my sister. And he made up a shitty baby lie on me. And do you realize how pathetic that family is? He could have told him I was a stripper, a bank robber, had nothing to do with her father's arrogant son. And for them to help pay for the cartel to try to kill me, just because they want to kill somebody. And that agent admitted he had talked to all the church people. He even knew why they were trying to kill me. Had that family in their office and blamed me for their grief and pain. And they said they paid him off. He talked like the worst criminal in the world on a recorded line. He embezzled my money. He sold the technology to my case. The Mexican drug cartel is live streaming witness protection programs, and the ones the government are trying to protect. Well, selling the login for $25 a pop right in front of the cops. Now they're in other ones. They owe me $300,000. I've talked to a criminal attorney. I have talked to the police. I've talked to the prosecutor's office. They can't stop your money from coming in. They can't ask you to stay quiet. I said, but they already had confessed. He even made fun of me for some guy named Pete framing me, laughing at me how I didn't know. Dave hired Pete on his own, I found out. His girlfriend's dad in the Mexican drug cartel running a sextortion scheme. He didn't arrest him and made fun of me for being a rape victim. And that was a guy where I was waking up with bruises, throwing up, heart racing, almost passing out in a severe personal infection. It was him breaking and violating me and drugging me up and telling me to say stuff I heard. And he was the one leaving me marked and infected. He was raping me. And those agents were making fun of a human trafficking victim being used as a pawn and being scammed. Someone needs to make this right. And they knew that. And they knew it was just drug lords fighting over this area. The fentanyl king went to jail. Someone needs to look for Dave and his wife. They're gone. They told Danny they're fleeing the United States, never coming back. Weird text messages. And I'll tell you what, in that one wedding picture, now he bought her online like a puppy. Told Danny said that he mail order bride, paid for the wedding. You can't even pay for people in Japan. It's human trafficking. I looked it up. Okay? And that he hadn't even met her. And he was telling him how irrational he was. And da-da-da-da-da. Somebody who don't even speak his own language. Think about that. Go over, marry her within 2 days, bring her back, act more rationally, take off without everything. Yeah. And if she's got 4 kids, he smuggled them in. It's human trafficking and human smuggling. She can't be in here without being approved through Homeland Security. And it takes 6 months to a year. You can't just go marry somebody and bring them over. And all the borders aren't open. The Mexican border for Mexican illegal immigrants, they'll let them come in. But you can't fly in here from any other country. All the borders aren't open. You have to be approved to live here. Otherwise, it's human trafficking and human smuggling. It takes 6 months to a year to get approved to live here. Yeah. And that girl, with Dave not answering his phone, sending weird text messages that sound like come from a girl, and nobody's heard from him in 30 days. And she's got 4 kids in that one picture. People need to be finding them. You talk about endangered people. They all could be dead. The drug cartel could have killed him and took that girl and those kids. It could have even been a pawn, Dave going over there under false pretense, marry her, human trafficker back here for a special order girl, like they talk. And those kids in her got sold into the Mexican drug cartel as slaves. That's how not funny this is. I've told everybody they need to be pinging Dave's phone, his passport, hers, and to find her and put her back in Japan where she's safe. If she's still alive. Because how did he get to the airport? He left his vehicle. He left his clothes. They have no money. Somebody's supporting him. I'm going to upload this.